Could this be the perfect popper? You'll have to tie some for yourself and find out. This is the perfect popper pencil hard foam body. It's a Wapsi product, distributed by Hagen's. A hump shank style hook works best for these popper bodies, but any hook that snugly fits into the popper slot will work fine. This Daiichi 1750 in a size 4 fits the bill really well for its length and its durability. And use a lighter to heat it up for 4 or 5 seconds. This is going to allow you to slide on your hard foam body and give it a snug fit straight up to the hook eye. Make sure you don't touch the hook because that heat is going to distribute along the hook shank. Once you set your pencil popper body in place, fill the remaining gap with some Zap-A-Gap or some super glue and spread it throughout with your bodkin. We're going to use white 140 Ultra thread to attach the materials for this perfect popper. Let's get it started on the back side of the popper body. I always like to start my poppers and my baitfish patterns with a little bit of a red hot spot on the back side. For that, saltwater angel hair is really hard to beat. I'm going to trim a small 2-inch piece of angel hair for this tag, tie it down at its midpoint, fold all the forward facing material towards the back, and then capture everything down together. Trim this material to make about a 1-inch tag off the back side of the popper. A single robust Marabou feather is going to provide movement and silhouette on the back side of this fly. Stroke all the fibers towards the tips and bring it to the hook for measurement. Trim the feathers at your will-be tie-in point and add a small dab of head cement or super glue before bringing your feathers to the hook. This super glue will prevent the Marabou from spinning around the hook shank. Fold the Marabou butt fibers around the hook and make a few secure wraps to set it in place. Make sure you don't get super glue on your fingers from that pinch wrap and get it all over the rest of the materials. Now to add a little bit more color and some more movement, Irid yellow angel hair does the trick. It's just close enough to chartreuse for who it's for. Remember, if it ain't chartreuse, it ain't no use. But you can use any color as long as it's chartreuse. Pull a chunk of angel hair from the hank rather than trimming it. This will give you an even taper on both sides of material. Again, capture the angel hair at its midpoint on one side of the hook before folding forward-facing materials over the top and around to the other side of the hook shank. Bring your thread over this angel hair and pull it all rearward while adding a few securing wraps. Trim your angel hair to be a bit longer than the Marabou fibers. To finish up the materials portion, add a little bit of pearl gold fire star to cover up your thread wraps and clean up the rest of that body. Dub about a 3-inch noodle onto your hook shank and create a nice little ball at your tie-in point. Hit it with a few half hitches or a whip finish before trimming your thread. Lightly brush out your fire star to blend it into the rearward facing materials. Now for the fun part. Now this popper will catch fish as it is, but there are flies that fish like, and then there are flies that anglers like. I'm taking it a bit further with some paint and eyes. You don't need a fancy airbrush tool to paint popper bodies. These poppers will take any water-based acrylics or spray paints really well. So just find something that you have on hand, or pick something up at your local hobby or craft store and make it work for you. It doesn't have to be perfect. Topwater strikes are usually instinctive and usually very aggressive. They're not nitpicking on small details of your fly, typically. More often than not, it's the silhouette, the movement, and the sound that's going to attract and elicit strikes with a topwater lure. Again, I love chartreuse, so I'm finding the closest color I have to that, which is a yellowish color. I'm going to use a small paintbrush to spread an even coat of yellow on the top side of this pencil popper body. I like to bring my color down to about the midpoint on the pencil popper. I always like to add a little bit of red to my popper patterns as well, both in the gill section and on the face of the popper body. So I'm going to use a red acrylic paint with a paintbrush. I'm going to start off by adding some red on the underside of the body where the gills might be, and just a few strokes on either side of that pencil popper body are going to do the trick. After I've done that, I'm going to get the popper facing me and paint the front side of this pencil popper to make sure it's all red on the front. Again, something I think is just a great trigger for any baitfish pattern you're planning to tie. Eyes are another key trigger for baitfish patterns. I'm using molded 3D eyes. Can easily be added with super glue, but Hagen's has some flat lure eyes that would work best for these rounded popper bodies. So the molded 3D eye, I'm going to add a dab of super glue on the side of the hook and then place the rounded eye on that dab of super glue. Turn the body on its other side and do the same thing. Dab of super glue and a molded eye, and just make sure that they're straight and level on the side of the body. A lot of our local baitfish are freckled with black spots, so I like to add a few black spots to mine, but make it your own, color it to match your local prey species. And then to finish up, we're going to cover the entire popper body with UV resin. This is just going to add a nice shine to it and really increase its durability. A lot of times I'm throwing these poppers tight into shore, into brush piles, rocky points, rocky shorelines, and they can definitely take a beating. So the more durable they are, the longer they're going to last, and that UV resin just helps increase the longevity of your hard work. Once you hit it with the light, you'll have a perfect popper, pencil style, ready for topwater action. Hope it helps you catch some fish on your home waters. These are all the materials you'll need to tie a perfect pencil popper. Head down to your local fly shop and ask for Larva lace by name. If they don't carry it, you can tell them to go to hagensfish.com or email Lorie to get the best synthetic fly tying materials on the market. Larva lace synthetics are manufactured in Mitchell, South Dakota, right here in the United States, and distributed all over the world. We do custom orders and offer dealer pricing for those looking to distribute the best materials on the market. Thanks for tying with Larva lace. Thanks for being a part of the Larva lace community. Tight lines and well-tied flies.